GunStuff. We're live again for another session right here in the Newport studio of GunStuff TV. You know, it's kind of a gloomy day here in Cincinnati, but no fear, we have it all taken care of for you. We have some sunshiny guests that are going to bring it to us. And today we're going to hear about, you guessed it, the YEET cannon. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back. We've got, as I promised you, we've got some great guests today. I have with us Carol Bosenberg, who's with us, and Charles Brown from MKS Supply.
Right.
They are the official distributors of, in fact, the brands are right here, HiPoint Firearms, we've got Inland Manufacturing, and Barno Ammo.
That's correct. That's
Thanks
right,
for being
Chris.
on the show, guys.
Thanks, Chris and
for having
Scott.
us.
Glad to be here.
It's a long way from Dayton.
Yeah.
coming
Yeah,
down.
it was a long 1 hour drive. Nice drive down I-75.
No, I thought you were going to bring some sunny weather with us.
We tried. It's beautiful in Dayton. I'm not sure what happened in Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's kind of gloomy out the back here. Hey, before we get rolling in this, I'd like to tell our guests about our social media giveaway. Now, you see some hats there on our chair. We were always wearing the hats. We have it on the table. So our social media giveaway gives you an opportunity to get one of our GunStuff hats. Now, all you need to do is comment on one of the live streams. So we were talking about that before, Charlie. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. We're on a couple different Facebook channels. Now, last week's winners, I'd like to announce them right here so you all can see. Mark Lancaster and Adam Berkeypile. So thank you so much, you guys, for commenting last week. Your hats are going out. Now, if you folks want to get involved with it this week, just comment. And what we're asking you to do is tell us your favorite HiPoint. And if we'll just switch over to our slide here so you can see that. So that's what we want you to do. Tell us your favorite HiPoint in honor of HiPoint Firearms. And we're so glad to have you guys back. So tell us a little bit, let's just start about MKS. You want to tell us a little bit about HiPoint history,
Sure.
how you guys got started,
Right.
the whole 9 yards.
Well, MKS is a marketing company, and we work with manufacturers and become basically their marketing and sales arm, their branding arm. So we do a service for the manufacturers that we work with. You know, you've heard the widget story. I got the greatest widget in the world, but nobody, you know, I went out of business because nobody buys it. A lot of manufacturers don't want to mess with the marketing and sales side. So I don't want to mess with the manufacturing side. So makes for a nice marriage. We work with manufacturers who like to make great products, don't necessarily like to get into the consumer and branding side of it. So that's where MKS steps in, and we've been working with HiPoint for over 30 years.
Well, HiPoint's a favorite. In fact, it just so happened that this week we were featuring in our emails some HiPoint firearms. And we were just talking about the YEET cannon. Now, Carol, why don't you tell us the genesis of the YEET cannon?
Okay.
What's this all about? What's YEET mean anyway?
Okay, so yeet is to throw something with excitement. That's
Okay.
what yeet means. It's a we'll call it a younger person's term that kind of went viral. You know how that goes. So the yeet for the yeet cannon, which is its new name, the YC9, we did what's called the Name Your 9 competition. And basically it was a few different steps where people on the internet were able to name our new firearm that we were coming out with. So this is the YC9. And we had over 300,000 votes in a matter of 3 days.
300,000 for YEET.
Yes.
Yes.
The YEET cannon.
Yes,
Yes.
It
Awesome.
was by and large the most popular name that was put out there. This is something that's never been done in the firearms world. We were in totally uncharted waters, and we made it through the storm.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been anything. And,
Right.
Yes, it could have been anything, and we were prepared for anything, you know.
But I don't think you were prepared for YEET because that's kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
youngest person that worked for us is Ryan, and he's 24-ish.
Yeah.
And that's kind of in his
He knew.
realm, you
Yeah.
know.
He knew what it was.
Everybody else beyond that, we're like, what's
the
a
heck
yeet?
does
What's
that
a
mean?
yeet? You know?
Well, I was watching it on social media develop as well. So even back when it first started,
Yep.
you know, a couple of the things, you know, I monitor a lot of the social media stuff, and it was popping up on there, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I looked it up and did the same thing
Yeah.
as well, and I'm like, all right, yeah. but we were here in the studio, and I had to ask one of the interns, what
Sure.
is that?
Right.
You know, right
Yep.
off the bat. But
That's not a
yeah.
term that we use, you know,
Burning up.
as being over 30-ish.
Yeah.
Now
So-
the YC9, that's what you have here. That's actually the new YEET cannon. That's not quite available yet, is it?
That's correct. That gun will be available sometime in 2020, hopefully shortly after the first of the year. Obviously, when you're bringing out a new product, there's a lot of testing and evaluation and changing that goes along the development line. We're
2020. Well, that's
close.
That's a few months.
That's
from
close.
Now.
That's coming.
I need my YEET now.
Well-
And there's lots of people that want
Right.
that YEET cannon. What can you do to help
If
them?
you need an immediate yeet fix,
All right.
we have decided to utilize the current C9 that we make now
Okay.
and offer it with the YEET cannon moniker. We call it the G1, which stands for Generation 1. If you must have your YEET now, you can pick up a C9 YEET cannon G1.
So there we go. The G1, the YEET cannon,
Yep.
and that is actually available on our email and
That's
on our
right.
website. In
Yep.
fact, we just added that here just this week, and in fact, if you guys are interested in this, you can see that we're. This is pretty crazy. For the YEET, you think you'd have to pay a lot more for something like this. It's only $169. Now, I actually thought, Charlie, that this was going to be a lightweight firearm. I really thought at that price, well, how can anybody afford to do anything?
Right.
But take a look at that, Scott. What do you think? That's
It's
a heck of
handful.
a.
Yeah, it's solid. It's nice. I mean, it's got a lot of heft to it, so it's going to help with recoil. And
It definitely helps recoil.
Yeah.
It's a blowback operated gun, Chris, so we need the little weight in the slide. We don't have a delayed lock breech where we're bleeding off some of that pressure. So all the pressure goes to drive the slide back and function the gun. So that's why the HiPoints have a little bit more weight than some of your small pocket pistols.
So it's actually better in the firing.
Yes, it eats up a lot of recoil, it really does.
And you've had the C9 for a while, right?
Absolutely, that's our standard gun we've been making for over 20 years now. Very popular, very reasonably priced. It's our best-selling firearm.
So this also has the recoil spring around the barrel, right?
Yes, it actually lays underneath the barrel.
Okay. Yeah. So I was wondering why more firearms haven't taken that design. You know, as far as the recoil spring around. But that's one of the things that I love.
Absolutely.
There was a couple other things just looking up the name as well. You know, when you're talking about YEET and all that stuff, and so we read the definition. Of course, got on Urban Dictionary and looked it up. But there's a couple other things I just want to throw out there too, which after I read it, I was like, that's perfect. So it be used as an exclamation to express excitement, usually happy and also nervous, but it can also be used as exclamation of victory. Right. So that's a great thing to link to your firearm, but or also as a battle cry or a focus. All right, so then it says also that the word has a distinct feel and power to it. To yeet is to give something full power and soul to an action. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it started off as like a couple people on the internet, like, okay,
Right.
I'm going to be funny here,
Right.
But then after I start looking into it, I'm like,
What better?
That is a
Yeah.
great.
Right.
That is a great,
Right.
you know, synthesis of what you want to put into
Absolutely.
a firearm. So I was just like, yeah, I like that.
It works out really
yeah.
nice,
Yeah, it's
doesn't
kind
it?
of the way that
Yeah.
we actually went too. Is at first we were like, yeet, we don't want it to be some like trendy term, you know.
Yeah.
But then when we looked more into it, we were happy with the name and decided to fully embrace the yeeting, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I saw this girl, she was chucking a soda can and saying yeet.
Yeah.
Right.
Did she invent the word yeet, or was she just using that?
No, not that I know. I mean, of course, online you never know what's original, but that's not the original video that I've seen for yeet. So, but
But
who
I've seen that
knows?
video too.
Yes, I've seen that video as
And she
well.
definitely chucks it at velocity, doesn't she?
High velocity.
Pretty
Right.
crazy. So we just love the fact that you're in here, you brought it in, and you folks, I know you're going to want to help yourself to a YEET cannon for $169. Now, this is based upon, and we're also selling this. This is your C9, which is basically the same firearm, is that right?
Yes, yeah, it's the same firearm as the G1, correct.
But if you want it without YEET, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. In fact, you're going to have to pay 36 cents more. And so, you know, you know, there are a lot, you know, Charlie, Kara, what we decided to do with GunStuff is appeal to a broad market of people.
Sure.
There are lots of folks that they want to get into the shooting sports because it's trendy. They see these shooting ranges coming up all over the United States.
Right.
They may want to do some personal protection. And so we want to go out to a broad base of people. Well, you know, a lot of folks think it costs a fortune to get involved with it.
Right.
But gosh,
That's where HiPoint comes in. You know, I used to run ads called the HiPoint the Working Man's Gun, and it's way beyond that in as such that you know, when you get into bicycling or get into snow skiing, you don't go out and buy the best product that you can find right away. You start off slow, you see if you like the sport, you see if you enjoy it, and then you build your way up. So, you know, HiPoint has been welcoming new shooters to the industry for over 30 years.
yeah, why spend, you know, $600-800, you know, on something your first engagement out there?
Right.
And just like you were saying, this is a quality firearm.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, another thing in our email this week, and it's just coincidence that we actually got you guys involved today, is, in fact, right next to you there, the inland manufacturing. Tell us a little bit about inland manufacturing.
Well, Inland was a subsidiary of the General Motors, and during the Second World War, GM was, well, let's back up a little bit. Winchester was charged to develop a new firearm for support troops. Not a handgun, but a carbine. They come out with the M1, which is a .30 carbine. Inland also built many of the Browning M2s right in Dayton, Ohio. Well, Inland is made right in Dayton. The new Inland is made right in Dayton, Ohio, just a few miles from the old factory.
Just a couple.
Just a couple miles from that.
So this has a history.
Yeah.
This is no newcomer.
Actually, the Inland Model 37 shotgun is made by Ithaca, which is a well-known U.S. manufacturer of shotguns. Back during the World War II in Korea and Vietnam, they made what they called a trench shotgun, and that's what the Inland M37 is.
Now I see it's got a pump action there.
Right? Yes.
And then what's that on the end there?
Well, that's a bayonet lug on the end, and then also a heat shield. The Ithaca 37 was really appreciated because it fed and ejected from the bottom, so lefties and righties could shoot it with no problem.
And then you've got a strap.
Yep, we've got a sling swivel attachment, and it's a great replication of a shotgun that was built 50 years ago.
Now, although it's a replica, it's meant to be used.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It'll run and gun with the best of them.
How many rounds can you put in there?
This is a 4 rounds in the mag and 1 in the chamber.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's a beautiful firearm. Now, that's not the only firearm. I see
Right.
we got a couple others. Or
Yep.
no shortage of firearms here at GunStuff Studios.
Well, we also wanted to bring out the original style Inland M1 carbine with
so
the
this
wood
is
stock.
the original
Yes,
style.
yes.
Now, is this available for purchase?
It certainly is. This is a 1945 model with a bayonet lug, and then they make a 1944 model without the bayonet lug.
Hey, you know, we neglected to say that shotgun, we'll come back to that slide in a minute, that's like $1,100. What does this one retail?
You know that it's in the $1,100 to $1,200
11 to
range
12.
too. Yes.
So you can get a and this looks to me like this is going to last forever.
Yep. All brand new U.S. made parts, brand new Green Mountain barrel, no surplus parts in these guns. These aren't parts guns; these are brand
all
new
brand new made.
parts.
Here, take
right.
a look at that,
Yeah.
Scott.
Yep. Actually, we're a match sponsor at Camp Perry every year in the carbine matches.
I'm going to turn this over just a little bit so you can get a good look on the bolt here.
Oh, there, that's
See how
Original
this-
style bolt,
see how
rotates when
smooth
you
it is.
open. Yep.
look at that.
Yeah, we like to refer to it as old school cool. It doesn't have all the buttons and gadgets on it. It's a straightforward fighting weapon that shoots all day long.
Well, and this design is just, it's stood
Very
the test
tried
of
and
time.
true,
Yeah.
yep.
I mean, this is a battle weapon.
Yep,
You know, it's-
absolutely.
And these are the weapons that really have made our country
Absolutely,
what it is, that gives us the
absolutely.
freedom that we're,
Yep.
well,
Yeah.
you know, you might be speaking German.
That's right. That's right.
I will say, like as a woman, that this gun is fantastic for women and children to learn on. It's almost like shooting a 22. I mean, it's so underrated.
Very low recoil.
Yeah, and it is a great round for kids and women to shoot, definitely.
And American made.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you don't mind, I'm going to pull this one out here
Yeah.
so you can see. So this is the modern
That's the imp.
version
Yeah,
of this.
we decided to bring the M1 into the 21st century a little bit. It has a aluminum chassis stock on it, makes it very
See the other
rigid.
side, too.
And actually, a police department up around Dayton asked us to make this series of guns so it would fit in their saddlebags of their motor patrol vehicles, their motorcycles.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's called the imp because it's the
Inland Motor Patrol carbine.
IMP.
Yeah. IMP. Yeah.
And you were talking about ballistics on this as well. So the ballistics on this is similar to.
Yes, the 30 caliber carbine ballistics are very similar to .223 out to 100 yards.
Okay.
110 grain bullet. It's a straight wall cartridge. So it's a good quality, again, tried and true round. It's been used for 75 years.
Yep.
And fiber optic sight there.
That's right.
Lighting up
Rear
right
peep
now.
sight, fiber optic front sight, threaded barrel so you can run can or whatever. It's brace ready. The round piece on the back there, you can
Screw it right in.
Put it right in there. Yep.
So our law enforcement in Dayton are using it. Some other law enforcement around the country.
We have a lot of looking at that gun for that same reason for the
motor
motorcycle.
patrol.
Right, right.
How many are these magazines?
That's a 30 round mag,
That's a
but
30 round mag?
we have 10s, 15s, and 30s.
Well, and being the same ballistics, this mag would be much easier for someone on a motorcycle to have on them and
Absolutely.
on their belt, and to be able to use this as a primary weapon, instead of their sidearm.
Yep.
So carrying 30 rounds of this, having the same ballistic energy and the same knockdown power as an AR, as an AR-15 in a much smaller package. So this would be much easier, much more compact for them.
Absolutely.
I could totally see why they would want to go with.
A lot of consumers like it too.
Yeah,
We've
and
sold quite a few.
it just flat out looks cool.
Yeah, it's
You know,
got
it's
a definite cool factor to it.
There's a cool factor to it, and just holding it here in my hand, I'm just oh, yeah.
A little bit of a Terminator feel. Huh?
Yeah, it really is.
Now, we have any other firearms on here that we haven't talked
Well,
about?
I brought one of our C9s in our digital camo. We dip those in-house. We have our own hydro dipping facility up in Mansfield where the guns are made, and we dip in Desert Digital, Real Tree, woodland camo, and we do a pink, but the pink has started to slow off a little bit in the firearms.
And tell us about the sights on here.
Well, HiPoint uses square dot sights rather than round dots because the top of the squares are flat, much easier to line up when you're shooting.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep, fully adjustable rear sight.
Now, is that all, on all of your firearms?
Yes.
Well, you guys built a better mousetrap then.
Our sights are a better mousetrap. They're much easier to see and shoot than round sights.
And the finish is beautiful.
Yeah, looks
Yeah.
really nice.
It's all done in-house, and a question we oftentimes get with HiPoint is how is it so affordable? And the reason is because actually we almost build the entire firearm in-house, and a lot of places will outsource and bring in and assemble, and we don't do that. Obviously it's American made, and it also has a lifetime warranty too. Because we work on everything in-house, it's really simple for us to do any kind of repairs or updates for our firearms.
That's right.
Yeah. And like he was talking about before, and he's getting ready to pull out the big boy here. I spent some time on the range with several new shooters, and they've purchased this and the carbine as well. So a lot of the new shooters wanting to get into PCC, pistol caliber carbine, stuff like that. When they want to shoot 2-gun matches and things, buying a set of this in 9mm allows you to get in at an entry-level point and be able to shoot for a very long time. But one of the things I didn't realize also is that your warranty on these firearms is phenomenal.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah, no
What
questions
is your
asked.
warranty?
Lifetime warranty.
Lifetime warranty,
Yep.
no
If you can
questions
break it, we can fix it.
yeah.
Wow.
So being able to just get it and just and run it at a competition and drop it, step on whatever could happen and go wrong, being able to do that. But having a set with just like we were talking about before, pistol caliber carbines, the magazines are going to be interchangeable.
That's correct.
So you can carry all your magazines on your belt, and you don't have to have rifle magazines, rifle ammunition, pistol magazines, pistol ammunition. You can have your belt lined out with magazines, and you can run both of them. So he's getting ready to bring out the big boy here.
Take a look at
Well,
that.
Yeah.
We released our 10mm.
Yeah.
HiPoint has been making pistol caliber carbines since about '96. Our original gun was the model 995. We expected to bring it out in '95, but we really pushed it into '96. That was a 9mm. First, just like our handgun, it was a 9mm rifle.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Since then, this is in the Realtree Edge, which is the new camo about a year ago from
My favorite
Realtree.
camo pattern, by
It's
the
an
way.
excellent,
So nice,
excellent
yeah.
camo pattern, and Realtree's been a joy to work with. Our carbines, like our pistols, are pistol calibers, right? So if you buy a 45 pistol, buy a 45 carbine, run the same mags, same cartridges, everything the same. So, you know, back in our forefathers' days, it was an advantage to have a 45 lever action rifle and have your 45 pistol on you. You didn't have any ammunition issues.
Yes.
We're seeing that come back a lot, especially a few years ago when the preppers were so prominent. You know, they loved the fact they could buy a HiPoint carbine and pistol, run the same mags and the same ammo.
Same mags too.
Same mags too, right. Now this is
That's
our
great.
10 millimeter. We don't have a 10 millimeter pistol, but the 10 millimeter as well as our 45 are straight wall cartridges. Being in Ohio, close to Indiana, close to Michigan, they allow the 10 millimeter 45 to be used for deer hunting. So it's a valid, good deer hunting cartridge, and it's a great gun to shoot. You know, it's a fun gun to have in the field.
And it's quite handsome. And it's got that lifetime guarantee.
That's correct.
I'm still not sure that how you can afford to do that. My guess is that you just build them so daggone well they never come back.
They are a
anyway.
pretty durable and sturdy, well-built gun. We literally have millions and millions of HiPoints in the field in service right now. Many millions of the pistols, a few million of the carbines, but it's a big number. And we get less than 2% ever come back for any reason.
Wow.
Usually it's because somebody takes them apart, loses a part or two,
Yeah, right.
and then sends them back. You know, it's usually human error more than any.
Or they try and
I
put
was
something
cleaning
else
this
in
and I
there.
can't get it back
Exactly.
together.
Oh, yeah.
Can you fix it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here are the parts. Please fix.
And
But,
we do. We send it back.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Well, it's great to build a loyal following. Like
We have a very loyal following, and we really appreciate the fact that there are
Scott,
people out
I
there
know you're gonna
that
look at
you know.
that.
It used to be that it was a big advantage to get more than what you paid for, and
Yeah.
at HiPoint we feel like you still get more than what you pay for.
Well, that's kind of different in today's world, isn't it?
It seems to, you know, it seems like people are willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get the same gun as they would get to buy HiPoint.
Yeah. So you may adopt some of the new terminology like YEET,
Right.
but you haven't given up your good
Absolutely.
American values of hard
Absolutely.
work and dependability and so forth.
That's
You know, the
correct.
one thing, Charlie, I'm thinking that, you know, we talked a lot about firearms, but I think one thing you might have forgotten is what about the ammo that goes into these firearms?
Right, right. Well, to digress a little bit, HiPoint is still a family-owned company. It's not a big conglomerate.
Okay.
The family still works. Many people in the family still work in the business of HiPoint, and it has family values.
Well, that
you
makes
know.
all the difference.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah,
You know,
I
they
noticed
care
your
about.
maiden name was very similar to.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So there's some family going on
That's
here
correct.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes, I was a teacher for 5 years, and then decided to join the good fight.
And what were you teaching?
I taught history, so it was ancient civilization. So it was good stuff. It was really good stuff. But sometimes with the, you know, I was a little bit smothered in what I could or could not teach. So that's where I decided that if I can't teach history the way that history happened, then and the way that our country was founded, then I would join people in the firearms industry.
Yeah,
Well,
my wife's a teacher as well, so I understand.
Yeah,
that.
it's tough. It's
Yeah.
very tough. Yeah.
And it's valid, you know, it really hasn't changed. Those that don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. And,
Sure.
And I think we find a lot of that in today's world. So
Yes. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
correct.
kudos to your school teaching experience.
Yeah, I did love it. It was fun.
Now, we were talking before the show, we were talking about ammo. Tell us what you've got here.
Well, Kara?
So we are the exclusive importer of Barno ammunition, and it's Russian, prestigious Russian steel-cased ammunition. They've been around for about 75 years now. So this ammunition is so top-notch that all Russian military and special forces only use this. So we're importing the U.S. It has been in the U.S. for a long time, just under private labeled ammunition companies. But now Barno, as proud as they are, they want their own name and they want to market their own product in the U.S. So that's where MKS came in. We started bringing in about a year ago. So it's been on the market for about a year, and we have an array of availability of calibers for you, and different polymer and lacquer coated for depending on what you're shooting.
Now, we need to add that to GunStuff TV. I'm not sure if it's on there or not. We didn't have a chance to look at it because we just brought this in here. So, in fact, I don't know if you can see, but
Let me pull up a couple here.
if we can pull this and
I'll
let
just
just Mike zoom in on that, that's some pretty nice looking ammo there. So
What you notice is the 223 ammo is a polymer coated ammo because 223s run a pretty tight tolerance.
okay.
So the polymer coating helps the injection and extraction of the bullets, of the cartridges after they're fired. The greener color is actually lacquer coated steel case. These are all steel case. So many of the Russian-made firearms, like your AKs and your Mosins, they're built to shoot lacquer-coated steel case ammo. So they haven't changed that. They continue to offer the lacquer-coated ammo for those.
Yeah, and it's also the taper of the ammo in the chamber that allows the lacquer-coated ammo to be ejected
That is
much
correct.
more easily. And of
Yep.
course that so there's a little bit of a reputation that has preceded it where people tried to run it in straight wall cartridges, but
Right.
in an AK or SKS or any of the
Yep.
others, they taper the walls specifically for that reason.
And the more straight wall, the 223s and the
Yeah.
545 x 39, it's polymer coated and it slides in and out no problem at all. So.
And you were saying that the Russians that use this, these are the top of the line law enforcement people.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Special Forces use only Barno.
Well, that sounds like something great that our viewers would be interested in. And so, it just as of last December, then you
That's
guys are
correct.
taking it
That's
over,
correct.
and so we can look a lot more for Barno ammo coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up until a few years ago, Russian steel case ammo kind of fell under the old ideas of it's all old surplus ammo because it looks like old surplus ammo.
Yeah.
This ammo, when we order it, it is literally made to our order. So the ammo that we just received today was made probably less than 90 days ago. It's good quality, fresh ammo. It's not old surplus stuff.
Oh, that's important
Yeah.
to know too,
Yes,
right?
it is all new, brand new ammo, fresh ammo.
Well, this time in our show, we right before we wrap up, we want to thank our viewers. Now, remember, we told you at the beginning of the show, tell us your favorite HiPoint. Now, all you have to do is comment that in the comments of any of your favorite social media where you're watching this. Now, we also have a contest here. It's the Edco Giveaway. Now, one thing about ammo is it's got to be loaded, right?
That's right.
Right.
And it's not always so easy. So our friends, Dr. Al DiPoli, who is a doctor of ophthalmology.
Absolutely.
of
We
Edco.
know Al very well, and he's a
Yeah.
great guy.
Yes, yeah. He's saved many thumbs.
Absolutely.
And in his long practice of taking care of thumbs, he found out that people actually needed a better system of loading. And you can get all of these. These are all different calibers. We were out on the range. We had 2 or 3 different guns, and we found everything that we needed.
Yeah.
And you folks can actually get this yourself free if you'll just, there we go. We give you a good close up here. This comes to you free if you register for our Edco giveaway. And this week's contest winner, I'll give you his name. We need a drum roll for this. Is Clyde Richard Baker. So Clyde, be sure to send us your street address so that we can mail it out. We cannot mail this to your Gmail address. It has to be a street address. And we've already emailed him earlier today asking for that. And you folks can get on board too, and you register at GunStuff TV/Adco. Very simple, and it's a free giveaway, and why not? We're all about
right.
that. Well, thanks so much. Kara, Charlie, nice to have you guys
Appreciate
here
you having
Thank
us
you.
down as your guest.
to really, enliven our show and give some really good information, don't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you, and glad to have you. Please tell your folks about GunStuff, and remember, every Thursday at 2 p.m. we're going to be here, and thanks for watching.